Hi, everybody. On this really beautiful Friday, the 25th of March, 2022. It ain't very long at all. I'm just going to get out there and enjoy the sunshine. Okay, I'm going to give it today and give it tomorrow. And if tomorrow is as bad as it's been over the last week or so, then I'm going to have to find another way of doing this. Okay, so as before, it's 5 records that I'm going to be listening to later today in the evening. Okay, a very varied bunch today. So I'm not going to keep you very long. I'm going to be as quick as I can. The first one up today is the marvelous Tangerine Dream Rubicon. Beautiful cover. German electronic, throbbing electronic music from this three-person band. Chris Frank, Egger Fruser, and Peter Baumann. Peter Egger Fruser, unfortunately, is no longer with us. This is an album which is not very long at all. It's just a continuous piece of music on both sides. So you just listen to the whole thing, and it's one of the few albums where it is very enjoyable just to sit down and listen to. The first side, part one, is 17 minutes 18, and the second part is 17 minutes 35. Beautiful cover. There we are, and that's the back. It's great stuff. Okay, it's very ambient. However, it's got a lot of melody in it, and it's certainly not boring electronic music. This one, it's very melodic. You have got a little bit of guitar in there from Edgar Fruser, the main man in the band, but it's very rhythm-driven music, and we are talking 1975 here, recorded in 74, into 75. And it's very experimental. It was very popular at the time, and it's certainly one of my favourite electronic albums. No singing, it's just completely instrumental. So it's one of these albums where you just sit down and listen to the whole thing. It is fabulous. So that's my number one then, the wonderful Rubicon by Tangerine Dream. And let me just show you this label very quickly because I love it so much. The whole package is fantastic, but if anybody's not seen that before, look at that label. It is beautiful, isn't it? You see that? The sun's shining a little bit. I'll try and put it up for you there. There you go. Not very good because the sun is quite bright today. Okay, a classic from 1975 then. Sticking with the same year, let me just put this back if I can. There you go. Okay. Put yours in. So, same year then, and this is another classic. An English band, great band, 4-piece band, and they were unlike anybody else. And in fact, I think they still are. They were 4 individual singers in their own rights, individual songwriters, multi-instrumentalists that came together as a group, and they are 10cc, and this is the original soundtrack. Just look at this design, it is just fabulous. You see that pencil? It's a pencil drawing, that one. And then you've got them again in the middle. Hopefully you can see that. Wonderful cover. This is great pop music. This album will always be remembered for the classic I'm Not in Love. For those younger people amongst us, this I'm Not in Love is probably one of the greatest singles ever released from UK, and that's including everybody. It's just so brilliant. Um, the other one to note um, is the long suite of music, which is Un Nuit à Paris, One Night in Paris, basically, and it's broken down into three bits. And it was certainly a precursor for how Bohemian Rhapsody was put together by Queen. So a lot of people thought that Queen nicked that idea from them. I can't argue to or against that one. Um, and then you've got the final track on side one called Blackmail. And I'll go into the type of music in a minute. Side two begins with the second sitting for the Last Supper. Very, very funny track. Brand New Day, Flying Junk, and the other single that came from this album was a very funny song called Life is a Minestrone. And then the final track is Film of My Love. This is very tongue in cheek album. The I'm Not in Love song is literally in those days, in 1974 into 1975, there was no such thing as looping or anything like that. You know, the modern day technology was not there. So how they produced I'm Not in Love was for them to record all their voices, hundreds, literally hundreds of voices, and they had to stick it all together with tape and put it through this machine to create this effect. When you hear the song, if you've not heard it, it sounds like this massive choral sort of orchestra in the background, but it's not. It's their voices, multi-tracked hundreds and hundreds of times, and the effect is fantastic. There's the lyric sheet that's inside there, so attention to detail with that as well. But as I said, the four individual singers, so you didn't know from one song to another who was going to be on lead vocals. They were that good, you know. Um, the highlight is obviously I'm Not in Love. I cannot get away with not recommending that song. It's a great, great song. On here, it's been extended. Let me just check for you very quickly how it is on here. Yeah, it's just over 6 minutes on here. The actual single, I think, was cut to about 3.5 minutes, something like that. But once you've heard that single, you've never heard anything like it. It got to number one, thankfully, in 1975. It was a great, great big hit for them. The biggest, probably, hit that they ever had. And this album is much more than that single, but I cannot get away with not recommending that one. The other one I would suggest, it's a really, really funny song. It's a rocky piece of music called "Life Is a Minestrone." That was the other single. A great song, very, very funny. It's rocking. It's very much rhythm and blues based song, so it's a poppy rhythm and blues type thing. And it's great. I think you'll enjoy it. It's immediate. It's very sing alongy, a little bit like "I'm Not in Love," but "I'm Not in Love" is one of those songs where you sit down and listen to it. You know, put your arm around your loved one because it's all about love. It's a beautiful song. But "Life Is a Minestrone" strongly is one to leap about like an idiot to. It's great. It's a great, great song. So my second choice then is the wonderful 10cc original soundtrack. What a great record cover that is. Okay, moving along to 1978. This one. This chap had lots of different musical outings before he produced this album. Um, he started off with a comedian called Billy Connolly, um, and they were a duo called the Humble Bums. They did 3 albums before they both split. Billy Connolly went off and did his comedy bit, and the other chap, this chap, started a band, um, but after his first solo album, and a lot of people just don't know that album at all. And that album is called "Can I Have My Money Back, Please?" Very, very funny, great album. But the main thing was after that foray with his first solo album, he formed a band called Steelers Wheel, and they were known for this massive hit called "Stuck in the Middle with You." Everybody knows that one, I think, of a certain age, anyway. That band splintered, and then I think their last album was '76, I think. And then Jerry Rafferty, that's the chap I'm talking about, released this absolute classic. And this is called City to City. Again, it's one of those albums that's just remembered for one song, and that is Baker Street. Although it's from 1978, I never ever tire of listening to that song. That's a fabulous, fabulous song. So I would be very surprised if you've not heard that song. But this album is so much more than that. There he is at the back. There's a lovely, lovely cover. And this was done by his mate Patrick, John Patrick Byrne, actually, who did most of his covers. And they're all in this style, along with the Steelers Wheels one as well. They're fantastic artwork here. Brilliant stuff. There's 10 amazing and I have to read them for you. It's The Ark, Baker Street, I've already mentioned, Right Down the Line, City to City, the title track, Stealing Time, Turn the Record Over, Matty's Rag, Whatever's Written in Your Heart, Home and Dry, Ireland, and Waiting for the Day. This is rhythm and blues, a bit of soul, I suppose you could say, folk, rock, is probably the best way to describe this type of music. So a folky influence, a traditional folky type influence to it with rock music in there as well, but lots of rhythm and blues and a little bit of soul in there as well. Fabulous, fabulous album. Great voice, great guitar player, brings in some fantastic musicians, and the quality of Jerry's songwriting is right up there. 2 tracks to recommend for you then. I'm not going to recommend Baker Street because I think most people would know that. I would recommend Right Down the Line, an upbeat song, very upbeat, beautiful song, and the beautiful, beautiful ballad, which was actually sang by his family at his funeral. And that beautiful song is Whatever's Written in Your Heart. So, sort of 2 examples of his songwriting: the upbeat Right Down the Line and the beautiful ballad, Whatever's Written in Your Heart. Beautiful, beautiful song. So, this is my number 3 then. Fantastic album. Really is. It's one of these albums, really, I would say that it should be in everybody's record collection. This one. It's great. Okay, we are shooting right forward now. These 2 modern albums, not like the first 3 stuck in the 70s, like this old sweat here. But no, I'm going to show you 2 modern classics. This one is from 2013, and this is a lady who approaches music in a completely different way to anybody that I've heard before. What she does, she manipulates her voice using Moog synthesizers. She's got a fabulous voice, but what she does, she puts loops of a voice through keyboards and enhances it all. So she's just a one-man band. It's like a cappella, but through keyboard effects. And the other thing about it is there are no words. She's just using the sound of voice. There are no words to any of the songs, and it's a very unusual way to approach music, but it is fabulous. And I am talking about Juliana Barwick, and this album is called Nepenthe. You've probably never heard of the girl. If some of you are on my Facebook site, then I will post a video for you to look at. But there are videos obviously on YouTube for you to watch. Really go and check her. She's great. That's the other side of the album, and then you've got this lovely inner sleeve. She actually recorded this in Iceland with a chap called Alex Summers, who's worked with Sigur Rós, and indeed he's on this album along with Johnsy, the lead singer from Sigur Rós, and the string quartet that used to work with Sigur Rós are on here as well. So although she's using her voice through keyboard, she has got string quartets. Amina are the name of the string quartet, and other people helping out, but it's mainly her voice enhanced through keyboards. This is a great album. It really, really is. Alex Summers does a great job with production on here. Sounds really, really great. Go and check her out on YouTube. Really, really good. Very unusual. Like I said, there's no words. It's just her using the sound of her voice. The 2 tracks I would recommend from here, there's 10 tracks on this album, and the 2 tracks that I would recommend for you to go and check. On the first side, The Harbinger, and the second track, which is on the second side, is Crystal Lake. Beautiful, beautiful tracks. Not to take away the other songs. There's 10 songs on here, and they are all really, really good. But those 2 are my particular favourites from this album. It's a great album, this one. Okay, so this is Juliana Barwick, Nepenthe. Okay, the last one for today then, number 5. This album came out in 2020, so just 2 years ago now. Again, this chap, very unusual. This chap is more of a filmmaker and director, but also gets involved in making music himself. So when you see a video from this chap, you know you're going to get a massive production, and he does that on his videos. There's not many. He hasn't done that many videos, but when he does one, my goodness, he goes all out for it. The music that this chap produces is very orchestral. He uses a massive orchestra, along with choirs, and then he gets a couple of other people in him with the rhythm. So you've got a drummer, proper drummer. So there's no sort of electronic drumming or anything. He's the keyboard player and he's the singer. There is the odd bit of guitar on there as well, but it's mainly orchestra, his keyboards, and his singing. And this chap is called Woodkid, and this is called S16. This is just his second album. And let me just show you this mad, without it all falling apart. There he is. locked inside. Can I come back? Can you see that there? He's locked inside this sort of, looks like a bit Terminator type thing, doesn't it? And he's made, I think it's 2 or 3 videos from this album, and they're all sort of linked to a theme. Really, really good. So the music is orchestral. It's it does a lot. It does quite a bit of rapping on here as well, which is not really my cup of tea, but he does it extremely well. And there's a lot of orchestra and electronics as well, and a lot of percussion. A lot of percussion on here, and it's absolutely fantastic. It really, really is. He was very popular with his first album, Run Boy Run. I don't know if you remember that one from his first album. That was extremely popular. This is a great package. I mean, it's a lovely red vinyl. So you got a red orange tinge to it. Sounds great. It's not a particularly long album. They've stretched it out to a double. So it sounds very, very good. Very modern sounding, although, you know, my explanation of it being orchestral, it is orchestral, but it's very modern sounding. And it's a great album. The 2 tracks that I would recommend for you are the first track on the album, Goliath, absolutely fantastic track. And the other one is the last track on the album called Minus 61. Fabulous. So that's my final choice for today, the wonderful Woodkid S16. That's my dog scratching at the door, so I'm going to have to go. Have a fantastic day. It's beautiful here again, so I ain't staying indoors. I'm going to get out and enjoy this sunshine. Okay. Have a fantastic day then, and as I said, I'll have another go tomorrow. If it's not that clever, then I'm going to have to come up with another idea. Okay. Have a great day, everybody, and happy listening.